There are a lot of different ways that students act out. Some students externalize by getting aggressive with their peers or refusing to do schoolwork or making a scene in class. And some students internalize by thinking negatively about themselves and keeping their feelings in. And this leads to self-destructive behaviors like disengaging with schoolwork or giving up easily or even self-harming. It can be difficult for teachers to know how to respond when students are acting out like this because they have a whole class to teach and they don't have time to sit down with each individual student and figure out why they're acting the way they do. What's helpful to remember is that all of these experiences, no matter what they look like on the surface, come from an underlying low self-image, which is usually the result of difficult experiences that these students have faced. When kids act in ways that are destructive, we can think of it as if their brain has been hijacked. They're in a survival response, and in those moments, they won't be able to think clearly about what they're doing or the consequences of their actions. The best thing we can do is set boundaries calmly, while at the same time validating their emotion and letting them know that we see through the behavior that they're exhibiting. It can be incredibly challenging for teachers to respond to students who are acting out because often this behavior triggers an emotional reaction in the teacher as well. This is really normal. When someone acts aggressively or is having a big emotional reaction, this often triggers our survival response. So we might respond with anger or defensiveness or even a joke, whatever our natural response is when we're caught off guard. It's a huge challenge to deal with our own emotions as well as the emotions of others when we're in an intense situation. And this is especially challenging for teachers because they're in a room full of other students who are having their own emotional reaction to what's happening and are all looking to the teacher to see what they're going to do. That's a lot of pressure. And the way students respond to their peers often reinforces the negative thought patterns of the student that's struggling. Peers will just see someone that's being weird or different and treat them that way, which lowers the self-esteem of the student that's struggling even more. Teachers can really help this by helping the class reframe what they're seeing. This not only helps the student, but it also takes the pressure off the teacher to fix or manage the problem behavior. These situations can actually be learning experiences because it can help teach compassion and empathy in all students. So if a student yells and storms out of the room, the teacher can turn to the class and say, "Who else has felt that frustrated before? I know I sure have. They must be going through something hard. What do you think we can all do to help them move through this?" Kids and teenagers are incredibly resourceful and supportive when we help guide them in seeing it this way. If kids can look at their peers and think, "I wonder what they're struggling with," rather than, "I can't believe they just did that, what a loser," that changes everything. The peer group can then become a powerfully positive force rather than a negative and limiting one. When we role model a calm, non-reactive response, this neutralizes the entire situation. And if teachers have to deliver a consequence, keeping this same calm style of behavior really helps. Taking a deep breath first and remembering that this is also challenging for us can really help us get calm. Then we can simply say something like, "I really care about you and how you are, and I can see that you're struggling. That behavior is not okay in this class. What can we do differently?" This helps them see that you're on their side and want to support them. And it gives them the opportunity to become accountable and make changes because they're not being shamed, they're being soothed.